right, welcome back to the IMNerd podcast. I'm your birthday boy, Freeway, and I'm here with my co-host Kenny.
Are you wearing your birthday suit?
I'm fully clothed, actually, even under what the camera can see. I am fully clothed, but today is my birthday, November 25th. So yeah, it's that day. I celebrated this past weekend in New York, and it was awesome. If you guys follow me on Instagram at Saint Alante, Alante being my middle name, if you know, you know. But my Instagram, I posted a bunch of everything I was doing from Friday to Sunday when I came back home. But I went out to eat at my favorite restaurant in the entire country, IMN, which is a steakhouse that does an all-you-can-eat Wagyu type situation. It's like $170 a person. And then, after the drinks and all other shit that you order, it ends up being like $250, $300 a person or whatever. I don't know. But the thing is, when it's your birthday, the way my friend group works is we go to an expensive restaurant, but the birthday person doesn't pay. So I don't actually know what they ended up paying. I do know, but I don't know at the same time. I'm the accountant, so I always end up dividing up the bill. But then they you just tell us what the math is, and you're not paying for it, obviously. But that was awesome. That's my favorite restaurant in the entire country. It is outrageously good if you ever get a chance to go there in New York. It's called Hyun, Hyun. And so that was good.
My favorite restaurant is?
What's that?
Hibachi Grill.
I love hibachi, bro. The one near you in Springfield is my favorite hibachi.
Yeah, that shit is hard.
Yep.
That shit is hard, bro.
I don't need no
hibachi.
I don't need no Benihanas. I don't need no bells and whistles.
Benihanas is old. Benihanas is old. That's what Puffy was rapping about in the 90s.
Right.
We're not on Benihanas. We're on
the hibachi of Springfield. I think that's what literally was called. Shit is so good.
And hibachi's my spot. I've never been to your spot. Don't know if I ever will. But
one day we can make it a thing, as we continue to grow.
Day.
What did you do this weekend?
Yeah. Hey, listen, growth can be great. But that said, happy birthday to the boy.
Thank you.
Everybody out there, by the time you're hearing this, it's not his birthday anymore, but feel free to annoy him. Show him some love.
Yeah, the Patreon.
Hit him up on Discord.
The Discord is going crazy. I see a lot of birthday posts and all that stuff. So thank you to every single person who's already wished me happy birthday. I have 190 something things on Facebook. I just closed the app as soon as I saw that. I ran so fast. I saw 190 notifications, and I literally said, I'm not doing this. And I just ran.
What's crazy is I don't even use Facebook anymore.
Yeah.
But,
same. You know what's crazy? I've weaned myself off of Facebook. My last post before today. So I posted a birthday thing today, and it said, this is 40. Cause I've been doing this meme thing where I've been saying that I'm 40 years old today. And everyone is like, wait, crazy. You're not 40, right? But everyone thinks they're confused. The last thing I posted before that was the Chainsaw Man movie. That was October 25th. That is a full 30 days. It's my last post was on October 25th. I said the Chainsaw Man movie was unbelievably hard. Was not expecting it at all. That was a month ago to the day. So I don't even use Facebook anymore. I've completely weaned myself basically off of it because it's just kind of not really great.
It's just not, it is what it is. Yeah, I don't know. I think that my last post is 2022 or something.
Oh,
or 2021. Damn. But
oh my God.
My last post I think is me. It's a picture of me, Cairo, and Ant. I think that's my last post. But anyway, the point is, every now and then, I'll turn it on just to see what's going on.
Yeah.
And, or to message somebody on Messenger. And, but I'll see that I still get people saying happy birthday to me on Facebook. And it's random people I haven't talked to in 7 years. But when they get the Facebook notification, they still say happy birthday, which is crazy to me. I don't know.
I don't think I do the same thing to people who I don't think use Facebook anymore. I remember looking at their wall, and the last thing was the previous year's happy birthdays. So I was like,
yeah, that's how it is on my page.
Yeah.
I'm like, y'all know I'm not checking this shit.
Yeah. That's the last thing you see is their previous shit. So it's kind of funny, but yeah, Facebook, it's good for some things. Mainly to me, it's kind of just a funny place to go where your family usually is. I see a lot of family members on Facebook. People put life updates, they had a kid or they got married. A lot of that stuff. I saw Silverman was at a wedding over the weekend, so I saw him and his fiance dressed up really nice. Silverman looked really nice. Shout out to Silverman and Erica, but they were dressed up for somebody's wedding. And, that's the type of shit you see on Facebook, stuff like that. Right.
I think that's the thing about Facebook is that it is one of the truest social medias, and I guess what it was supposed to be. And Facebook's kind of the one that invented it, where Facebook is literally usually just friends and family, people that doing friends and family update stuff.
Yep.
And obviously maybe they'll post some political shit randomly, but I feel almost every other social media has kind of gone the route of it just being a lot of political shit, and then like also news updates and like where you find some stuff for games or what. Just like it's become so much more. It's just become media as a whole that also happens to have a social aspect. Whereas Facebook is more so just your family and friends. And for me, I get the interaction mostly from Discord. And
Discord is my primary social media, if that is what is considered. That's my primary source of communication with people nowadays. Like I'm not really big into texting. I'm not really big into Facebook Messenger. I prefer Discord over everything. That's the number one way to communicate with me. And I tell people this all the time. Like, it's better for you to send a carrier pigeon than call me. Like, I do not call my phone.
You know how angry I get? I was talking to somebody and they had a Discord. And I was like, oh yeah, just blah blah blah. Like, hit me up on Discord. And they were like, nah, hit me up on WhatsApp. I was like, I'm not. No. What do you like? No, like, you already have Discord. Yeah. Why aren't you just using Discord? Like, why are we going to WhatsApp? Like, what the fuck are you talking?
I don't care what country.
Like we be on WhatsApp. I'm like, I don't give a fuck where y'all be. Like, y'all need
we be on WhatsApp is so crazy.
Like, y'all need to stop.
Oh God, who is we? Yeah, no, WhatsApp is I know that people in foreign countries use that, like, countries outside of the US, but I feel like if you have Discord, because we talk to Cairo every day and he's just on Discord, like, I can't even tell he's not, like, I can't tell he's not in the US. I can't tell he's in Korea because there's seamless integration between everyone on Discord. Like, we're all together on Discord. So, yeah, it's random.
That's awesome. Hang out with our Korean friends, our Australian friends.
Australian, yeah. Nick, Dandy, right? So, yeah, what'd you do? I see the background for this is a picture of you and Medina, which I assume was literally taken this past weekend.
Yeah. So you went to New York. I stayed in Philly, but I went to so there was a Smash Bros / Rivals of Ether tournament called No Johns. A quick explanation of that. I know most people are as familiar with the lingo of John being a noun for anything. It's a pronoun for all nouns.
Yep.
In Philadelphia.
Yep.
It's the everything pronoun. So John, there's Smash lingo, Smash terminology called No Johns. John was a player in Smash back in like 2006, and he just complained after everything. Like, if he lost, his hands were cold. Like,
wait, is this really the origin of Johns?
100%. It was a player named John.
I never knew
every
that.
time he lost, he just complained about shit. Oh no, my hands were cold. Oh no, my controller wasn't working.
That's amazing.
Oh no, like, and then so like people started saying like No Johns. Like, when you would like make up excuses, excuses started to get called Johns. So in the Smash scene, a John is an excuse named after a guy named John, which is hilarious.
That is so good.
So in Philly, John sounds like John, etc. So there's a tournament called No Johns, right? It's a Smash tournament, whatever. So pretty cool play on words tournament. Awesome. So I went there. So Stango, my cousin, he entered Rivals of Aether 2, and then his fiance, I was like wife, girlfriend, I think fiance. His fiance was TOing the tournament. So she was helping organizing the tournament, getting everybody all together for the Rivals section. There was also Smash Ultimate there and Melee there. So it was awesome. A bunch of Smash things. I tried to enter the tournament, but then apparently I signed up too late, which I was annoyed about. And then when I went there, Shannon was like, oh, I can get you in anyway. I'm TOing. And then so she was going to get me in. And then the venue were like, no, the venue just like cock blocked me. They were like, no. And then she was like, I'm TOing it, like whatever. And then it just some bullshit. I got cock blocked. I didn't get to enter.
That's so corny. I really wanted you to be able to enter the tournament. I mean,
yeah, I still played a bunch of people.
Yeah, friendlies and all that. But I like you went into it knowing, you don't expect to fucking win. You're not Stango, right?
No, but I wanted to enter. I wanted to play.
Just to play, just to like have, in a tournament setting. It would have been cool to just have that experience or whatever. But I guess there's going to be another one of those things. Apparently, I heard.
Yeah, there'll be more. I really did want to enter.
Do you know how much it was to enter? Because I know fighting game tournaments are notoriously cheap.
I think it was like either 10 or 15.
That's so crazy that I don't know how inflation has not hit the entry fee for that yet. Edison is up to $50.
Well,
like,
I'll tell you how. I'll tell you how. Okay. It's just like they can raise the price and no one will enter. Just like, no.
Why? But why?
FGC is cheap, bro. FGC is cheap. It's a poor man's
sport.
So
against that.
They just
I'm
won't
so
enter.
against that, bro. I had a whole conversation with Beast Mode about that when it came to Yu-Gi-Oh! And I was telling him, because Beast Mode holds free tournaments online for like Edison, right? And he had one recently that was 100 players. And this was after we had done our 80 player $10 entry tournament, which is, you had to be a party member or higher. Party member's $10. And I was like, we got 80 people and it was $10. So that's, and the prize pool was $1,000 cash. And we basically took in $800 and then we just footed the bill for the rest of it. But like I said, the channel, the Patreon, those things generate money, which we then give back to the community in various ways. And we were talking about just like how cheap, it's not even a Yu-Gi-Oh player thing. It's not even necessarily, it's just like video game people or like card game people or whatever nerds tend to be really cheap when it comes to certain things. But I said, I don't think that is necessarily true. I think that a lot of TOs misjudge the situation. For example, Keegan has been doing RBTs for years now in person, and they were $40 to play. Konami was charging $25 to play an Ultimate Time Wizard. So you have a guy, a grassroots guy, charging more than Konami, which I understand why, but charging more than Konami and capping these events at 256, and they're usually hitting that cap. Yeah. Then you have this new one that just started, the LDS Legacy Duelist series, that is charging $50 a person. That shit capped in 3 days for the one that's coming up in January. It capped in 3 days, less than 72 hours. It capped at 256 players at $50 each. So my thing is, people are willing to actually pay an entry fee if they feel like they're getting, value from it. And I think, I'm not saying that fighting game tournament should be $50 a person, but I know that they were $10 when we were children.
Yeah. They were always 10. I think that they could, maybe there's some wiggle room. I'm not sure. I just know that there's a lot of people that bitch about stuff. I know I think like Evo, for example, I think entry fee for Evo is like 50. So
that makes sense. It's fucking Evo.
If Evo is 50, you're going to have a really hard time getting some random Philly tournament to be 50. You know what I mean?
Again, 50 is not the number, but I definitely think,
just as an example,
I definitely think if it's $10, I definitely think that it's time for it to be 20. It's time for it to be 20. $20 is also not a lot of money. Like, I'm sorry, but in 20, okay. So the way the dollar works, I know some people just don't understand inflation and how things work. $10 20 years ago went way further than $10 in 2025. So the $10 price is not the same anymore. Like, charging someone $10 in 2025 and charging them $10 in 2005 is a very, very big difference, because $10 doesn't get you as much. The buying power of $10 is so low compared to what it was 20 years ago, when literally 20 years ago, that was the price for entering tournaments.
Yep.
So my thing is, like, everything else in the world has gone up in price, everything. And I advocate for both sides. I advocate for customers, but also advocate for people who are running a business, because I'm running a business and I understand from this perspective, from this side, like, you do have to generate money. Like, things cost money. Venues, paying out judges, paying out staff, fucking setups, and fighting game tournaments have to be so much money, honestly.
Yeah, I was wondering, I was like, how the fuck is this going to work? Because Rivals is a PC game. It's like, they're going to need like a bunch of PCs there. And it was at I've never been there. I heard about it, but it's a spot in Philly called, like, I think it's called Local Host or something like that. Yeah. I forget exactly. But it's literally like a gaming lounge. Like, in there, there's like 50 PCs in there. There's a bunch of TV setups for like different systems and everything. And they hold, I think, Overwatch tournaments there and like a bunch of other random shit. So it is set up for that already, which is dope. Whatever they had to pay to get that venue for the day, I don't know, but yeah, it's pretty sick.
Yeah, I think that we're at the point where on this conversation, and I've seen one on Twitter. This was like 2 years ago or something, but I saw an entire conversation on Twitter about the price of venues and like the entry and all that stuff, literally going from like $10 to I think 15 or 20 or something like that. And I saw arguments for both sides, but then the people who were against it, I was just reading it like, yo, most of y'all don't even go to tournaments. That's the part that pisses me off. You have to realize the people who would complain about a $20 entry fee for an event that they literally had to fly or drive several hours to and book a hotel. Like, you're like, the people who are complaining are not the people who would do that. They're not the people who show up to these tournaments anyway.
It's the people that live in whichever neighborhood it's in.
Yes. Like, you literally can't listen to the loud minority on these types of things. Like, if the event is overall going to be better and the event is able to continue to run years to come, you do need to charge more money in order for it to actually be sustainable. Otherwise, what ends up happening, and this happens all the time, especially in Smash, is like, the events just go out. They just disappear. They're like, yo, we have to close our doors because we just can't sustain it the way it currently is. And the conversation never comes up of like, well, we can sustain it if we raise the price. And like, sure, we're going to lose some number of people are not going to go because the price, I guess, went up $10. But like, realistically, fuck off. Like actually.
Yeah. I also think Rivals is an interesting case because it's made by an indie studio, it's made by an indie dev. There's a lot of like love from the community for that studio.
Yeah.
So for example, Rivals, and because it's indie, it does a lot for its community, for its player base. So for example, the game is like $30, I think, right? $30 is the game. And every single character that comes out is free. It was promised before the game came out. You'll never have to pay for a character. Every character is free. So there's no season pass or anything like that. When a character comes out, it's free. You get it the day it comes out, like everybody else. So all the characters are free, content updates, etc. And then you also like earn the currency in game to like buy skins or whatever. So they release skins like every 2 weeks or whatever. They release skins and palettes or whatever. And you can get them in game by grinding, or you can pay real money for them. What has ended up happening is there's a lot of people that spend the money to buy skins that they don't have to buy. A lot of people spend it just to support the dev, to give the dev more money.
Exactly.
And because it's an indie dev, all of that to say, I think that, and they show a lot of love to the community, and they respect the community, and they like every single week they do a live dev stream talking about what's happening in the game. They do a lot for the community. They care about the community, and the community ends up caring back. And so they just spend money on the game to support the game and give more money to the game.
I love that. I mean, if there's any way to support a TO or support a game developer, I'm all for that, right? Like, I'm big into supporting it because I want it to continue, right? So, like, if you want to play in a tournament and the TO is like, hey, you know, fees have gone up for everything across the board. Like, inflation has hit every single part of our life now. So $10 is just not sustainable, and we need to raise the price to 20 because it's been 15 years since we've ever raised the price, or never raised the price, honestly. I can't imagine it was ever cheaper than 10.
Something they do that's pretty cool is, and it'd be cool if they did this for even more tournaments. I know the logistics are kind of difficult, but for some of the bigger tournaments and Rivals, what they do is like, let's say Evo, for example.
Right.
Evo's even too big. A smaller tournament like Supernova or the pool.
Genesis?
There was like a Riptide or something. I forget. But they'll literally make a skin or a color, like just a color swap, like not even a super high effort thing. They'll make a color swap for that tournament, and it'll be called like the Riptide like Rano skin.
Yeah.
And buying that skin, I think, gives money to Riptide.
Yeah.
So like they do that as well in Rivals of Aether, where like they'll just make a skin for a tournament, and if you buy that skin, that goes toward the money for that tournament.
Yeah. I'm all for like TOs actually getting compensated for doing that job, because that job, there's a lot that goes into it. People ask me all the time, when am I going to start hosting IMNerd tournaments in real life? And it's like, one, yes, I'm aware that I absolutely could do that. I think the brand has grown enough to where if I hosted an IMNerd Circuit Series in real life, I could get 256 players to show up, you know, do the same pricing. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, right? You do the same pricing and all the same shit that everybody else is doing, and I can get 256 people to show up. My thing is, I know what goes into that, and all the stress and the work that goes into that is so judges, venue fees. You have to have certain like regulations and things like that, a certain number of fire exits. Just like there's so much that goes into, depending on the number of people you have, there's so much that goes into being a TO. It is a very thankless job, because if anything goes wrong, even if it's kind of not your fault as the TO, people will shit on that event. And it's just like, damn, I took out all this time. I fronted money, like, because a lot of times you have to book.
TOs get flamed for no fucking reason. Like they're doing everything in their power, and like things go wrong, and they're like, dude, event sucked. Like I was cold, and and it's just like, well, I couldn't control that the fucking hotel's heater broke. Like,
or like the internet went down and the venue that you're in is like, okay, well now this round took an extra hour to get up, and it's like, yeah, it fucking sucks. I get it. But like, it is completely out of our control. We didn't know that the internet was not going to work for an hour.
Yeah.
You think that if I knew that, I would have like wanted this venue? No, but like this venue was affordable, which you have to pay for the venue up front. You can't like pay for the venue the day of the tournament. So the TOs are already in the hole before the tournament starts. Like they're already in the hole. It's just it's a whole thing. I do think I'm not even mad at TOs right now in Edison. Like they're $40 to $50 for events. It's what I expect. Like if you do the math, they're taking in, let's see, I'll just pull out a calculator real quick. So 256 times 50, $12,800. So that's like how much raw cash a TO is bringing in. If they actually get all 256 players to sign up at $50, is $12,800. I already know venues cost thousands. How many thousands is depending on if you know the person renting it to you, where you're at. Like if you're in New York, obviously it's gonna be more expensive than if you're in fucking Wisconsin somewhere.
Yeah, just the amount of money you make from entrance fee is barely going to cover the venue fee if you're lucky. It probably won't still cover the venue fee. And then on top of that, it doesn't cover whatever you're shelling out for prizing.
Yeah, you have to do prizing
you
plus
don't make
venue
money
fee.
TOing.
Yeah, TOing a fighting game tournament where you get $10, bro. $10 is so crazy because like $50 we just did $50 times 256 is 12,800, which is a pretty nice piece of change. And a lot of that, I know at least 60% of that is going to straight up overhead, maybe more, but like at least 60% of that, over half of it, over $6,000 to $7,000 of that is going to straight up just venue, paying the people who have to get paid to do their job. There's a production team too. Like you want these events streamed. Those people don't work for free. They shouldn't be working for free, right? Like a production is a big part of it because that's also how you as a TO can like capitalize on your tournament. Is you can kind of make money that way too because you have a YouTube channel, you have a Twitch stream or whatever, and those also generate money too. So it just has to all work together. But the point is, it's not cheap. It's a lot of stress. I have no intention on doing that anytime soon. I know people keep asking, but like I like doing my online tournaments. They have very low overhead, and we're able to just like take in donations, take in money from the Patreon, and then give that out as prizing. It's just much easier this way. It works for us. It's not a headache. It's not. There are parts of it that are a headache, obviously, but my biggest headache is usually like getting people to report their losses. Like that's as far as it goes.
So I have an update. So it's a little bit more than 10. They okay. It's good. So the venue fee is, so first the early bird. So first of all, there's the venue fee. So you have to pay to just get into the venue. So this is before you enter a tournament.
Yep.
So there's a venue fee. First 50 registers, $20. And then after that, it's $25. So that's
$25 to get in, just to like be there.
To be in the venue, yeah. Yep. And then for Melee and Rivals 2 singles, it's $15.
Yep.
And then for Melee doubles, it's $10 per teammate. Ultimate singles, $10. Ultimate doubles, $5 per teammate. I guess Ultimate is expected to be, I don't know why Ultimate's cheaper, but
maybe because it's going to get a lot of people or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Because like Melee singles is 15 and doubles is 10 per teammate, and then Ultimate singles is 10.
That's so interesting.
Doubles 5 per teammate. I don't really. Actually, I'd like to talk to somebody and find out why Ultimate is like so much cheaper.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's literally so 50% cheaper or something like that.
If you're playing Rivals 2, it'd be 25 plus 15 if you're playing in Rivals 2 singles. So
yeah, really weird.
Quite a bit better.
Yeah, I mean, again, I've been hearing about this $10, and apparently Ultimate is still $10. I've been hearing about this $10 price tag to enter tournaments. And I'm like, there's nowhere in the world where you can enter a tournament for $10 anymore. That's even been the tagline that I was using for our 1K. It's like, what 1K can you enter for $10, bro? Yeah, like that's not a thing.
That's not realistic.
Like to get that much equity back on $10 is insane. So yeah, I it's just a thing that I really do believe that the people who are competitive and the people who want to support will pay it. And the people who don't, ignore them anyway. Like they were not going to play anyway. Like if it was 10 or if it was 20, they weren't going to play. Like 'cause these people, they just get on the internet and they get Twitter fingers and they just start going off about like, oh, this is too expensive now and what's stopping them from making it $30. It's like, well, bro, everything in your life has gone up. Like, do you think that they don't deserve to be paid? This conversation is also happening right now with barbers. Right now, there's a conversation about barbers charging outrageous prices. And so this is a multi-sided conversation because on one hand, I agree. I see haircuts that are costing $100. I think that is wild. But then there are people who are charging like $20 to $30 for a haircut, which is also wild because that's what the price for haircuts has been for so long. That is like, okay, you can't expect to get a haircut for $20 anymore in 2025, but you also probably shouldn't be paying $100 for a haircut either. So
100 is crazy.
100 is crazy.
100
and that
just seems so crazy.
It seems excessive, right? And a lot of people are paying that too because the haircut will be like 80 and then they'll tip 20 or something, where the haircut will be like 90 and they'll tip 10, whatever it is. But people,
that's the thing. I think barbers definitely, like you said, the price of everything has gone up. And then there's different ways you can go about things. For example, a couple of years ago, I went to go get my haircut and it was $50.
I'll never forget that. That is so crazy. That is crazy to me. $50 for a haircut to me as a black man.
Pre-tip. And you're expected to tip. And so I was just like, well, I did what I needed to do. And I was like, I'm officially never getting my haircut again. I'm just going to shave my, like I already had clippers. I already cut my own hair since like 2015 or something like that. But sometimes I go to a real barber so they can do some real shit to my head.
Make it look nice. Like every once in a while, you just be like, you know what? Let me do this, right?
I was ready. So I was ready to pay $50 after tip. I was like, in my head, I was like,
right.
Whatever I'm going to pay and then I'm going to like tip on top of it, and like I'm going to pay 50. And then it was 50 before tip, and I was like, oh shit, and like my heart sank. And then like I still tipped them. I don't remember how much. I don't remember if it was 10 or 20, but it was at least 10. And then yeah, I was like, all right, well, that's fine. I'm not going to complain about it. I'm going to pay what I pay, but there's another option. The option is I'm just going to cut my own hair.
And that's what I've been doing since 2013. I started cutting my hair in 2013. November 2013 was the first time I ever cut my own hair. And I told this story on the podcast, I think, about how disgruntled I was at the barbershop because the barber was being super homophobic without realizing that. Like,
yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yep. And I never went back. I was going to that guy for years. And the conversation that was being had in the barbershop was so disgusting. It was so egregiously, and mind you, I am not a snowflake. I am not one of those people that's just like super soft or whatever. But my thing is, right, humans just gotta like, we're all human at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And there's a point where it's like, I'm not going to give my money to someone who says like very harmful things. And it wasn't just what was being said. There was also the notion of action, like physical harm being taken towards.
Oh yeah, I'll fuck them up.
Oh yeah, like towards LGBT children. And I was like, oh, so like, you're not just a bigot, you're also like violent towards people in the LGBT, including your own child. Because that was the conversation was about, was like the hypothetical of having a gay child or a trans child or whatever. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm just never going back to this barbershop. This is like actually kind of disgusting. And I learned how to cut my hair from there. That was the beginning of me cutting my hair. And I've been doing it for 12 years, I guess. It's been 12 years to the day. 12 years.
Yeah, it's crazy the way people act about that. It's just weird to me because of the situation I grew up in, where I just grew up around so much different people.
Yeah,
that it's just so weird to me that like I remember, I think I was 13. I want to say I was 13 when like one of my classmates was now granted, in hindsight, I didn't realize at the time, but in hindsight, he was being molested. But he was like bragging about this old man that he was dating and how like he busted on his face and shit like that.
Oh,
and we were like 13. But my point is, like, I was very well exposed to like, very gay shit, very young. And what's the thing that's crazy though is that at 13, I didn't think to myself like, you got molested. I didn't realize. Even
when guys tell stories about being with older women at young ages, and it's like, yeah, that's probably why you need to unpack that trauma. That is, you were molested, you were, or statutorily, you know, like, it's bad. It's not a good thing. I know you think that like it was cool, but then as adults, right? Because now we're in the big league, especially now in terms of age, and it's like, you ever wonder if some of the problems that you have in your life, the way you are sexually promiscuous or, you know, whatever, you ever wonder if maybe some of that stems from what happened to you as a child? Like, not to get too deep, but a lot of people haven't unpacked some of those situations that they were in. They thought it was so cool when you were in high school and you were dating a 20-something-year-old, or God forbid someone older than that, and y'all were doing things that you should not have been doing at 15 or 14 or whatever. Like, people, you know, a lot of rappers come out and talk about that. I think Jeezy or one of them recently, like in 2025, said that they were molested at like a very, very young age. Like, he admitted to it just this year. And it was a big conversation in hip hop about like, yeah, a lot of rappers, a lot of people in the world have actually just been molested or something has happened to them, which is why he's like, this is why I've treated women so poorly throughout my life. And this is also why like I've had mommy issues and like all types of shit. Like, a lot of things stem from those encounters that people try to glorify as like, oh man, like I wish I was a little boy and getting action at 13. It's like, that is not.
And it's people not really understanding. It's funny because I've had a bit of, and I do want to get back to talking about No Jones, by the way.
Yeah.
There's some things I want to talk about No Jones. But on this topic, it's funny because I've had some discussions with some friends of mine, and one of the discussions was around that, like, oh man. And it's fun to just, if you're joking around.
Yeah. Because we joke in like, ways that we would never even talk about on the podcast. Like, we have some really funny, fucked up jokes because that's what friends do, right?
Yeah. But, you know, oh man, I wish like I had a teacher that like came on to me, and all the guys that like snitch on their teacher for like fucking them are like bitches and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
like,
they're gay.
And when you're just like having fun joking about it, like, fine. But when you actually analyze it and you go, no, I'm being 100% serious.
Yeah, like, I'm being so serious. You were molested. Like,
yeah. And then it's like, well, no, see, because here's the thing. I know people personally who've been in relationships with women, guys been in relationships with women who have like, as a result of the relationship, have been traumatized, like heartbroken, like emotionally manipulated, all of those things, right? And that happened to you in a relationship where you guys were on the same playing field. You were both 25. You were both 22. Imagine if you were 15 and she was 34. the amount of emotional manipulation she'd be able to do to you, like how much smarter she is than you, how much like leverage she has over you. Like a 15-year-old who your emotions are in ultra flux. I don't think people realize the amount, because you just think about the fun, like, oh, I'm getting to have sex with a hot older lady. You're not thinking about the other side of it, where you're going to be like put through a bunch of emotional trauma. And I know people who've been through emotional trauma in normal relationships.
Same.
So I don't know why you think somebody who's way smarter than you isn't going to traumatize the shit out of you.
Yeah, it's very real, man. It's very real. But back to New John's. I know we took a detour there. It got kind of crazy.
So tournament, a little bit more expensive than I previously said, but still relatively cheap.
That is, yeah. And the venue fee does help a lot, because that type of thing is necessary. You basically are paying a venue fee when you play in Edison tournaments, right? So it's $50, but the venue probably costs $25 a person or $30 a person or whatever. So to put it in perspective. But how was it?
It was awesome. So we were there. First of all, the first thing I did, so it was me, Gary, aka OG, and our boy Medina. There's me and Medina. So there's a lady walking around taking pictures, and she said, "Do you guys care if I take a picture of you?" I was like, "Sure." I was like, "Medina, come on, take a picture." And then Medina stood there being stoic. Yeah. And then I looked at him and I said, "I'm going to be gay."
Yep.
And then
that's the Kenny special.
Yeah. And then I made like a stupid face and like I put my hands in a heart.
I love this picture, man. This is such a good picture. It's both of your personalities, like right here. This is literally both of them.
So that was really fun. And then I kind of forgot about it. And then I guess on the No John's like website or something, whatever. But Stango ended up finding this picture and sent it to me. And I was like, oh shit. So anyway, we were there. It was me, Medina, and Gary, and we met Stango there. And I expected like that to be the little squad, and we were going to just hang out all day, squad up. But then also there were some people there that I played Melee with from 10, 15 years ago.
Wow. That
showed up there that I didn't expect to see. So at one point, a lot of people don't know this about Stango, but when he was younger, remember, I've been playing video. I grew up with him. When he was younger, he used to play like Smash on his knees. He would be on his knees, and when he would like get really into it, his feet, like he'd be kicking his feet crazy.
Oh, shit.
Just like kicking his feet and like really like bouncing around, kicking his feet. And so I made this joke that like that's his full power. That everybody that played him in tournament, you guys don't know his full power, because like his full power, he's like kicking his feet and stuff like that. So that's like a joke I've been making for years and years and years. And very few people know that like joke, because it's from when Stango was a fucking baby, basically. Like he was a kid. So I'm sitting there watching him play against B-Bats. They're playing friendlies, and I hear somebody make that joke. They're like, oh, like you guys better watch out. He's gonna start kicking his feet. And I go, wait a second. Like immediately I'm like, that has to be a person I know. That can't be like, so I look and it's this guy, Bobby. He also goes by Metal Reaper. He played Melee. He played Melee with Stango and me, and just for years. And I was like, holy shit, is that Bobby? And then he looked at me and he was like, oh my fucking God, I didn't know you were here. And he was like, when I made that joke in my head, I was like, I wish Kenny was here. And you were fucking right here.
That's so crazy.
He was there. And then this other guy was there. His name's Kurt. Kurt's really fucking cool. I gave them all a big hug. I haven't seen them in like 10 years at least. Gave them a hug. It was really cool to see them. And they were just there playing Melee. And so we were there talking shit, playing in the tournament. The person who was supposed to be streaming the Rivals 2 tournament forgot their stream setup or something. I don't really know. Somehow the stream setup for Rivals 2 wasn't there. So, and there was people that wanted to watch it. Like people in our Discord were like, I want to watch you guys play in the tournament. So what we ended up doing was whenever Stango had a match, I literally just got behind him, pulled out my phone, and streamed it on Discord.
I've seen that happen for Smash Ultimate. Like Larry Lurr will stream tournaments with the official stream, right? But then there will be people, because some matches are not on the stage. Some matches are just happening. It'll be like a crazy match. It'll be like MK Leo versus Gluttony. And for whatever reason, that match is just not featured today. So somebody will take it upon themselves to pull out their phone and go live. And then Larry will be watching that live stream on his live stream. So you're watching a screen through a screen through a screen. It's so good though. Like I love that.
It's so good. I do love it. So I did that. I did a little Discord stream for the homies so we could see Stango's game. Stango got second. It was
B-Bats won?
Yeah, B-Bats won.
Yep.
He lost to B-Bats in winners finals, and then he lost them again in grand finals. They had a really, really good game in winners finals. Was mostly B-Bats' favor. He was just playing really, really well. Grand finals, it was a lot closer. There was a lot more back and forth, and they did really good, but B-Bats was able to just kind of close it out. So Stango got second.
Fleet?
Yeah, Fleet. It was Fleet versus Locks.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it was really good. And I was following around. I met a bunch of people. Like, I met a bunch of fucking people that were like, a couple people that were like, hey, this is my first time going to a tournament. And like, I love Rivals or whatever. I exchanged Discords with them. There was this other guy there who had like the Tri-State Rivals 2 Discord. So I ended up joining that Discord. So I'll try to go to like some more Tri-State Rivals tournaments or whatever online tournaments they end up holding. But yeah, I met a bunch of new Rivals players that are from Tri-State or like Philly in general, which was really cool. And then we just hung out and talked shit. We had this stupid conversation. You know, those conversations people had that it's just like, so the conversation was this. This is me, Medina, Stango, and Gary. If you had a button, right?
Oh, God.
And when you press the button, one random person on the planet dies.
Yep,
it could be you.
I feel like we talked about this on the podcast before.
Probably. But you get 100 because people go overboard. People go, you get a million, you get 1,000. I was like, you get $100, right? I feel like that's a
fuck.
So you press the button, one random person on the planet dies.
Fucked.
Could anybody, you include it, and you get $100, right? And it's like, would you do it? And then you get to keep the button, right? You can press it as much as you want. So you know, Medina was like, I'm gonna get an auto clicker. Like, I'm just gonna.
No,
he was like, I'm getting an auto clicker.
Not an auto clicker.
He's like, that shit. Medina started going crazy. He was like, bro, I will sell the button. He was like, I'll get someone to press the button. I'll tell them you get $10 every time you press the button. He was like, I'll get someone else to
he'll outsource pressing it.
Medina was crazy, right? Gary was down, but Stango was like, dude, it's so annoying. He was like, I don't care about the people dying. He was like, I don't give a fuck about that. He was like, I just don't feel like pressing a button. That's so annoying. He's like, can you make it more? Make it 1,000. I was like, no, that's the point. I was like, everybody goes overboard. I was like, it's 100.
Because if you say like, oh, every time you press it, you get $100,000, and some people are like, all right, I'll press it 10 times, kill 10 people, and have $1 million. And that is too easy because a lot of people will kill 10 people that they don't even know for $1 million, right? That's so easy. Making that decision is, and I know this sounds wild, but making that decision is a lot easier on people's minds than it is to press it literally 100,000 times, right? Yeah. Like pressing it 100,000 times to get real money because it's $100 per press is unfortunately not a lot of money. Much. It's not that much. Not a lot at all. $100 per life is not that much. And so you have to get to like the really ignorant money, you have to press it thousands upon thousands of times.
I was like, bro, I'll press it like 5 times day one. I was like, but after that, I'll just press it every morning when I brush my teeth. You know what I mean? Like, I just like give it a little press, 100.
Like make it a part of your routine.
Yeah, just out. But Tango was like, dude, it's so annoying to press the. I was like, what are you talking about? No, it's
not. You do so much shit every day that you stop. What we're not going to do is lie.
Like, he was complaining about like how annoying it is to press the button, right? And then somebody else was like talking about like the risk of it killing you. And then Medina looks up. He's like, well, there's 8 billion people estimated on the planet.
You win a lot of it faster than that. What happened?
He was like, that's not going to happen. And then here's where Medina's the most ignorant. So then he starts Googling something else. And I don't know what he's Googling. He goes, there's an estimated 350,000 people born every day. He was like, there's a replenishing supply.
There is.
He was like, it's so hard for the number to hit me.
It is. Like, honestly, so I would be so angry if I die from pressing the button just because I've never won the lottery, and I've played the lottery multiple times in my life.
Yeah.
And I've never won the lottery, and that would be like winning the lottery, but, you know, losing it instead. You know, like the worst possible outcome is like you won the lottery, but it's for your life, you know?
Dude, Stag was like, what if you make it $500? Medina was like, just press the button 5 times. Like, Medina was like, not
he's like, I don't understand why we need to make it any higher.
What are we talking about? Just press the button 5 times. He was like, what are you, like some aristocrat? Like, it's not worth the money to you? Like,
aristocrat. But like Jeff Bezos, pressing that button for him is like, you know, it costs money for him to press that button. By the time he presses it once,
it's a little ignorant if Jeff Bezos presses it. It's a little ignorant.
It is, but that's the point. It's like, that's what Medina's getting at. Like, who the fuck are you? We're pressing this for, you do more for less. Stango does more for less right now. Like, he does so much more for so much less. So I'm not trying to hear it. This button can't possibly be any harder than the fucking, because Stango works on IT, the fucking calls that he deals with. He vents to us almost every day about some slow person at these companies that he has to answer like, oh my God, this lady was so unbearable.
Now he probably, I don't know how much money he makes, but I'm going to guess he doesn't make 200 a day. He definitely doesn't make 300 a day. Now imagine
especially
if you could just go
on text.
You could just go. Yeah. He goes, well, where does the money appear? I was like, I don't know. It just fucking appears in your socks.
You just have it.
I don't know. I was like, you just have it. Stop making this overcomplicated.
I'll let you pick wherever you want it. You want PayPal, you want Venmo, you want Zelle, you want Cash App, you want cash. I don't care. Wherever you want it. You want it to appear in your fucking ass crack? It can appear wherever you want it to appear.
Yep. Yeah. So anyway, I love those stupid conversations, but I think people go too overboard. Like you press the button, you get $1 million. It's like, well, yeah, everybody's pressing it. I don't know.
Yeah, like you're not finding a person that's not pressing it.
It's a little bit more inconvenient. 100's not,
100 fucked me up because I really don't know. I've been thinking about it as we've been talking. I don't know what I would do because I do feel like $100 is far too little.
To value someone's life
for a life. I genuinely do feel that way. I'm not even trying to be like the moral, I'm not the moral police. I'm not. When I think about $100 for someone's literal life, it literally does pain me to think about that. It does.
Yeah.
So but I also want to be rich. So
yeah.
I don't know what I would do if the button was in front of me. Like maybe after I press it the first time and nothing happens, I realize that I'm so disconnected from the result outside of the money that I get in return. Like the death part doesn't
Yeah.
And then I can just keep doing it without thinking about it. But the first press, it will be the hardest for me is the way I see it. The first press, because it's like...
That's like the Batman, right? Batman can't kill no matter what. Like even if it's the Joker, because that's the hardest one. After he kills one...
After he kills one, because Batman can kill easily.
Yeah, it's over. It's fucking over.
Like, they say you got to put a dog down, right? And that's killed a human. Like you have to put them down. Yeah. Because once they've had human, they can't unhave it. You know what I mean? Like we're always on the menu from there forward. Like we're always on the menu. So yeah, that's a hard one. I don't know what I would do. I want to be rich though. And so it depends because I'm not struggling right now. I'm not in any dire straits. But let's say I incur, you never know what life has in store. Let's say I incurred a medical bill or my mom or dad or somebody ends up with some kind of crazy medical procedure that they need done. And I don't have millions of dollars for some crazy medical procedure. I don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars for that either. So, that button is getting pulled out. And guess what? I'm just going to sit there all night.
Imagine you're sitting there, right? You're struggling. You've never pressed the button. And then you need the money. And so you press the button and then your doctor dies.
That's just OD.
That's so ignorant.
That is so OD.
What the fuck?
Like, really, bro? I thought you were going to say your mom, the person that you're trying to save with the money. They fucking, when you press it the last time, your fucking mom just chokes.
Oh, man. But yeah, it's fun. Who knows? Yeah, I mean, definitely, to say a human life is worth $100 is kind of ignorant.
Yeah, it is. But that's what makes it good, though. Because I fully agree with you. Usually these questions, they're like, oh, would you suck a dick for $250 million? And then you get people on these podcasts, these macho fucking alpha male red pill podcasts who are like, I ain't sucking dick for nothing. And there's one guy who's like, well, and then they all just kind of look at it like, hey, yo. And it's like, stop.
Hey, yo, pause.
I need y'all to all stop lying. For $250 million, every single one of y'all is lining up, okay?
My favorite answer is I'm gonna do it and then pay him $10,000.
Yeah, to
force it on you.
Yeah, exactly. We used to say that as kids. Like, all right, if you're not doing it because you're so masculine, you're so straight, you never do it for $250 million. It's that makes it way too easy because it's such an an extreme amount of money, right? It's just an absurd amount. And the same thing with the button. $100 is nothing, honestly. $100 is basically nothing for everyone at this point.
Yeah.
Going back to the beginning of the podcast, where $10 for entry for a tournament is a joke. $100 at this point.
A singular $100 isn't going to help that much with your bills.
No, it's just not.
With how absurd bills are now.
It's not even speaking from a place of privilege or anything like that. I think it's just facts now. $100 is so much less than what it used to be.
It's speaking from the opposite of privilege. It's hard. $100 is hard. You can't do much with 100.
Even when I was in New York this past weekend, New York is naturally expensive. You know this. Everyone knows this. New York is naturally expensive. So I went last year to New York for the same weekend for the same purpose. Celebrate my birthday the weekend before because my birthday is always the week of Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is in 2 days. My birthday is today. And sometimes it's on Thanksgiving Day, sometimes the day before, sometimes the day after. In fact, next year it will be the day before. The year after that it'll be the day.
And then, it'll be day of.
That's how it works. So my birthday is always the week of Thanksgiving. So I always celebrate it the weekend before because, again, my friends and stuff are going to be inundated with just family stuff and prepping dinner, helping or traveling or whatever. The price of the hotel that I stayed at last year, whatever amount it was, when I checked, because I saw the amount this year that I had to pay and I was like, interesting. So now I checked last year's receipt in my email. I just typed in the name of the hotel and I was like, yo, it went up $50. Like last year was X price, and this year is $50 more. And I couldn't stop thinking about it because I was like, that's actually a significant increase in percentage.
Yeah.
Like, let's say hypothetically last year was 600 and this year is 650. That is an extremely high percentage increase.
Yeah.
Of something that just like, it's just wild to think about things going up that much.
I'm curious. I'm so curious what it will be next year and the year after. See if Big Mom Donnie. Big Mom Donnie can get something done for big New York.
Yeah, because I'm wondering how
cheaper.
How his socialist policies will affect like a hotel, right? Is for people who are usually out of there. You don't live in New York. His goal is to make New York affordable for people who live there. I don't know if anything in his policy is going to make tourism in New York cheaper. I don't know if that's his goal, but in fact, it could be his goal to make tourism more expensive to fund or to ease the lives of New Yorkers. This is something that, and the reason why I say this is something that Japan is doing right now in 2026. And I actually just booked my flight to Japan last night because the price went down. I paid, so to go to Japan this year was like $14.50 for the flight. I went in May of this year and I stayed for 2 weeks. I booked the flight again last night and it was $12.50. So for whatever reason, it was $200 off. And I was like, holy shit. Like, it's $200. I got an email from Google. The flight to Japan or whatever is now down $200. And I booked it immediately. I told my friend. I told
That's
Xavier.
juice.
I was like, Xavier, I'm about to book Japan right now, like for 2026. Anyway, there's been these articles that came out that were like, Japan is facing an over-tourism problem. It's a really big deal. It's the most traveled to country in the world right now, and it's been for the last couple of years. And mainly because I think it's cheap to go to Japan. Like by cheap, I mean the cost of everything in Japan is so cheap. Like the cost of food, the dollar's worth so much more. At least it was. Now it's probably fluctuating a lot, but the dollar was very strong against the Japanese yen. So when you would buy like one of the figurine thing, like one of the figures that people like, if you buy it over here, it'd be like $45. You buy it in Japan, it'll be $30. That's $15 off. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's
especially
when
you're buying so much shit. So you go over there, you buy Pokemon, you go to the Pokemon store, you go to Nintendo shop, you go to all these places. And we have these types of things in the United States. In New York, there was a Nintendo store I went into. And I picked up some of the dolls and stuff and picked up some of the t-shirts. And I was like, damn, like this t-shirt is $50 here. I was like, in Japan, this t-shirt was $33. So it's like $17 more in the US.
It's fucking crazy. You know why? One of the reasons why Japan's probably the most tourism spot? I think 30 years ago, tourism was mostly like, I want to see the world. Oh, I want to see the Eiffel Tower. Yep. It's this beautiful place. I want to go there with my wife and stuff like that. I think now, 30 years later, anime is so much bigger than I think people Well, I think people are starting to realize it. Anime is fucking huge.
It is, yeah.
And video games are also huge. And I think a lot of tourism has to do with that. I think there's a lot. The reason why Japan is so popular is because the exports that Japan have, anime and video games, are like two of the biggest markets in the fucking world.
Think about this too, Kenny.
Yeah.
Me and you grew up on Japanese culture, video games, card games, all these things, right? Anime. We grew up on Japanese culture. We're now at the age where we have the means to travel to Japan finally.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't do this when I met you. I couldn't realistically go to Japan because I was in college and like didn't have money. But I've been working in my career for over 10 years now. I don't have children. I don't have like any crazy monthly expenses, so I'm able to save a good amount of money. And I'm at the age now where like, yeah, traveling is more of a part of my life than it was. Like I used to travel for Yu-Gi, but that doesn't count because I literally would go to a hotel, go to a convention center, and then fly back home. And so really I wasn't really seeing the places that I was going to for the most part. Whereas going to Japan, I don't go for Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments because as far as I know, I'm sure that there are, but I don't play OCG format. I don't play Modern. Even if there was Edison, I really wouldn't spend any of my time doing that while I'm on that kind of vacation because I want to do so many other things. So it is a trip strictly for the culture of Japan, and you need money to be able to do it. But now we're in our 30s, so we're able to like do those types of things realistically. And so now I can see that we grew up. My point is we grew up. Now the people who watch anime as kids, we're grown. Now, of course, it's the number one travel destination. We're getting to see the creation of the things that we loved as children. Like we're finally that age. Yeah,
because the kids before us, right? They grew up maybe watching Superman and Batman. I mean, obviously we grew up with Superman and Batman as well, but Superman's from the 30s, right? And so, but that was made in America. My point is that was made in America, whereas even though Superman was still popular when I was younger, the age-old debate and the reason Goku was way more popular.
Yeah.
For my generation, Goku was way more popular. And Goku's not made in America. He's made in Japan. And so all of us now that are in our 30s, we want to go to where Goku's from. We want to go check that place out.
Yeah. We want to go to where Goku is from. Exactly. So I'm not surprised, but yeah, there's an over tourism thing happening. And it's also because you know how it works. Trendy. Japan is trendy. Yeah. Once people started going to Japan and posting about it, social media, everyone keeps seeing, holy shit, Japan looks insane. It's beautiful. People talk about the food being insane. People talk about the prices of things being cheap, how nice it is, how clean it is. There's no trash cans, but somehow there's no dirt. It is so
I'm trying to live there.
Honestly,
Let IMNerd be successful enough. I'm moving to Japan. Just so we're all clear.
Guns are banned. It's the second safest country in the entire world. There's like so many good things about it. Obviously, like I always say when I give this caveat, there's obviously things in Japan or about Japan that are not so great, but there are a lot of great things and they might outweigh the bad. And the same thing with America.
Not dying is really big.
Yeah, exactly. Not dying is so big. Randomly dying to fucking gun violence like we do in this country, or just,
Yeah, I mean, we live meant to protect one of the most dangerous areas in the country. So.
Yes. And just we live in also a very dangerous society. Like we just had a guy get sniped out of nowhere at a fucking college campus, just sniped, like open neck, no respect, just on a college campus. So that literally just happened, and that there's videos of it all over the internet, and that's just like unfortunately that is kind of like normal here too. Like it's not so crazy that like, oh my God, that's unheard of. You know what I mean? Like it's not.
Yeah, what's fucked up is if I saw that video in 2010, I think it would have like been a crazy video to see.
Yeah.
But I saw it in 2025, and I was like, it's a video.
Yep.
Like it's
literally the same.
Like, and that shouldn't be an opinion you have. Also, I don't remember if we talked about this on the podcast or not, but is that considered a school shooting?
It has to be.
You know what I mean? Like, would that go into the category of school shooting?
I think it is, yeah. I think it's a school shooting. Even though the perpetrator, I don't know if they were technically on camp because it's a sniper rifle. I don't know if they were technically on school grounds. They could have been far enough away. I don't really know much about sniper rifles and how far and all that shit they go.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that he wasn't even on the campus maybe, and he was far enough to where like he could see, obviously he could see his target, but he's that far. Sniper rifles are broken. From what I understand, they're just not fair.
Fair.
Yeah, they're just not fair. He could have not been on the campus, but he shot at someone who was on the campus. So I feel like that is a school shooting, especially because the aftermath of it was a bunch of school students running. So
yeah, they're the most hated weapon in shooting games.
They are.
Like it feels so gay.
Somebody sent me a video of an old woman who plays first person shooters, and she plays the sniper class. And I don't know if it was Fortnite, Call of Duty, or Battlefield. But
some shooting game.
She was probably 50 something, white, like gray hair. And she's apparently an insane sniper. So her page, millions of followers. And she was just it was like a compilation of her sniping people. And I was like, yo, that's awesome. That is, but it was kind of ignorant too, because I was like, damn, the people were never aware of her and they just died.
Yeah. Snipers are fucked up.
Yeah.
They're so fucked up.
That weapon should not be, like, civilians really should not have that weapon. I think that is one of the most ridiculous weapons of all weapons. It's such a ridiculous weapon. But, yeah. Anyway, Japan's great. And over tourism is a thing. So they're raising prices for so there's a tourism tax being implemented in like places like Kyoto, which is one of the number one tourist attractions to go to, like that area of Kyoto, because Kyoto is so outrageously beautiful and it's everything about it. So they're raising the price of everything for tourists in Kyoto to combat over tourism, and also to give some breath to the people who work there, because they've been overworked for the past couple of years because there's so many, the lines are crazy. Like imagine your shift is always lunch, like the lunch rush at Chipotle. Like Chipotle at lunch at 12 o'clock is probably disastrous. I've heard from people who worked at Chipotle, they're like, the lunch rush is awful. But then after that, it's kind of like chill. Imagine if the lunch rush is from the time you come in to the time you leave. It's like a line out the door the entire time you're there. That'd be awful.
That's terrible. Yeah, it's interesting. I wonder how you do. I remember like New York, like the food stands and like the food trucks. People were like getting mad at them. They were getting in trouble or something. This was 10 years ago. But for tourists, they were just charging more. So like, if you were from New York and like you can tell, like you walk up and then like let's just say a hot dog was like $5. I don't know. But then like if you walked up and you had like a German accent and you asked for a hot dog, they'd be like 15.
Yeah.
They would like the food truck guy would just say 15, and then he was just like, getting more money off of them.
Yeah. Another thing that they're doing is hotels specifically in the Kyoto area are $50 more a night. So that's a lot. When you think about it, because people go to Japan for like weeks at a time. Every time I've gone for 2 weeks at a time. So I've now lived an entire month in Japan. The entire month of my life has been in Japan because I went for 4 weeks now. And like, if you add $50 to 30 days, that's fucking a shit ton more money. So yeah, just to put into perspective, $50 extra a night is not something to scoff at unless you're, balling like that. That is definitely going to cut down on how accessible Japan is for outsiders. And that's one of the ways they're doing it. Because it's like, well, how do you tax people? Well, one, I'm black, so it's easy for me. And also if you're white, it's also easy. Because I'll tell you this, in Japan, all you're going to see is a bunch of Japanese people and very few people who are not. So they know. Like looking at you as
a melting pot.
No, it's not. And I want that to be very clear. Like some people expect to go there and it'd be like New York. It's not like New York at all. You are a minority and you feel it. You feel it immediately that everyone around you is Japanese and you are African American or you're white American or you're Mexican American or Asian American or whatever.
Yeah, you're going to feel out of place no matter who you are.
Yes. And most of them speak just Japanese. There's not much English being spoken. And I thought that was going to be different as well, but that's not the case. Most people just speak Japanese. And when you start speaking in English, they just look at you. And it's like, you need to pull out your phone or something to translate because not everybody just speaks English. Don't assume that you're in your country. All of that, like, this is America, speak American thing. That shit doesn't apply over there. They don't care.
It's Japan.
Yeah. And I genuinely love that because I've been working my ass off to learn Japanese the last couple of years, just enough to get around, not to fucking sit there and have a full conversation, but just enough to like, I can talk to you. I can order water. I can order my meal. I can say like, thank you and good morning and things like that. I can ask you how much something cost. Things like that, just enough to get around. Like, where's the train? Where's your bathroom? Stuff like that. Very blatant, like very simple stuff, but enough to be like, I'm trying to actually make it easier on you so that way you don't have to try to speak English to me who you don't really speak English. Like, so yeah, it's a great country, but I understand the over-tourism thing is definitely just bogging them down and it's making it life hard for the workers. And so they're combating it. But yeah, $50 an extra a night. I don't stay in Kyoto. I've never stayed in Kyoto. Kyoto was already expensive to me. I stay in Osaka and I stay in Tokyo, in different districts of Tokyo when I go. I always stay 7 days one hotel, 7 days the other hotel. And I always book hotels that are not super expensive because, and this is super true, you don't spend much time in your hotel. I know some people say that and they'll book like, some people will go to like some place in America, like you're from America, you'll go to some place in America, you'll book like a Motel 6, which I refuse to do. And people are like, oh, but like we're not going to really be in a hotel or whatever. It's like, okay, but I still don't want to stay at a Motel 6. Like, I understand that our intent of coming out here is not to be in a hotel room. I totally get that. But I'm still not staying in a Motel 6 because the last time I tried was in 2015 with a bunch of duelists and there was bed bugs and we had to leave. And I was like, see, we already shouldn't have been doing this. This is 10 years ago. I was like, we already should not have been staying at a Motel 6 to begin with. Like realistically, we could all pay extra whatever to get a real hotel.
You can get a real hotel and you don't need to get a fucking hotel with a view and a fucking...
No, I don't need all that. I don't need all that. Like, I promise you I don't need all that.
Because you're not supposed to... Like when I went to Edison, Jersey... last month I think it was.
Yeah,
like we just got like a regular hotel and a regular ass room.
Yeah, a DoubleTree, a Marriott, something like that. We were only
in the room to go to sleep.
Yeah,
we were in the room to go to sleep, and that was it. Like we didn't need some nice fucking pimped out room. Like what's the point in that?
Yeah, but a motel is like, no, bro, I'm not doing that. So in Japan, the hotel. The thing is, our floor for hotels in America is so much lower than the floor for hotels in Japan. Like. The as gross as it can get in America for a hotel, you're not going to find that. Even if you book a cheap hotel in Japan, it's going to be way better than whatever the fuck you get here. Yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah. Like the floor, the floor of like how gross it is. A Motel 6 in America, they're pretty gross. They're usually used for like prostitution and things like that. They're pretty gross.
What I was going to say is that there is a difference. We've talked about this before, but in their culture, they're a lot more cultural minded. So they just have a respect for their things. I think.
They do.
In America, it's about like cheaping out as what's the least amount of money I can spend in order to get the most amount of efficiency. That way I can make the most amount of money. So hotels are run, everything, not just hotels, everything in America is run in this razor thin way to like, what's the most I can fuck everybody over that is just enough to get by so that I can maximize how much money I make.
Yep.
And like, I'm all for capitalism, but I do think there's a level of it where it's just like there's no fucking care or respect for the thing that people are doing. It's just like razor thin, make as much money you can, fuck over my workers, fuck over the customers. It doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
Whereas in Japan, not just Japan, in other countries where they have a bit more respect for the culture and how they're perceived, and it's not just all about making every dollar possible, you can get a bit more.
Totally agree. More. As someone who's been there, I can tell you that, yeah, the hotels are really nice, and honestly, they're not that much. So
there's no trash cans, but there's not trash, there's not litter.
I don't understand.
There's no trash can and there's no litter.
It's like magic. It's genuinely like magic, bro. And it's because, and I knew this as soon as I got there, the first time I went in 2023 with me and McCabe and everybody, I remember holding my trash for an exceedingly long time, but I didn't feel bad about it. I was like, I refuse to drop this trash anywhere. Like I'm not, I'm never dropping this on the ground. I would feel so disgusted with myself as a person to just blatantly litter. One, I'm an outsider. That's just so OD. So one, I wasn't doing that. Also, I brought a bag every single day because in Japan, they like tell you, I watched a couple YouTube videos before I went, and they were like, you definitely do want to have like some kind of pouch, fanny pack bag, like a book bag, something. Have something because you need to hold coins. A lot of their shit is just coin based. So you want a bag, and then you're going to be buying stuff, and you don't also always want to carry shit in your hand. Like you want to just be able to put like, I bought this thing and I'm putting it in my book bag, or I bought this thing, I'm putting it in my bag. So I had a bag with me anyway, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to put this in my bag, and I know the hotel room does have trash cans, so I'll just wait till I get back. And apparently, come to find out, that's what people do. They hold their trash till they get home.
Yep, not here. We throw it out the window.
Yeah. Kids will eat a bag of Doritos and throw the shit on the ground, and the parent won't say or do anything about it.
Yeah, it's so disgusting, bro. It's so fucked up.
Litter is actually so crazy to me when you think about it, especially when you've seen a place that doesn't do that. It's so crazy to just eat something and throw the fucking wrapper on the ground blatantly.
Yeah.
Crazy. Okay. We've been talking for an hour now, and I did want to get to some listener letters because we've been promising this for like, I don't know how long, but I'm on this very first one here. So this one is from Austin Cruz, and it's pertaining to when we talked about the spreadsheet drama with Pac, where spreadsheets were sold to people, and a tweet went out that said like, if you're playing this card, you're behind. But then when the actual top deck list came out from that tournament, they topped with the card that they were saying was bad, or vice versa. They either didn't play it or did play it, whatever. It was like going against the spreadsheet and going against the tweet. And it was like, well, hold on. We bought this spreadsheet, and why didn't you tell us that you were now playing this card that you said you weren't playing? But when we look at your top deck list, you are playing it, and it has different, and there's different combo lines. If you play this card, there's different combo lines. So it's a big drama, like how everyone was like, serves you right. You guys got scammed for paying Yu-Gi-Oh players money for spreadsheets. You guys should just learn like everybody else. And there was this whole big debate about people paying for spreadsheets and being suckers. And then a whole debate about let people spend their money on what they want to spend on, but it is still wrong to advertise something and then deliver something else. So that was the conversation to give context. Anyway, Austin says, first of all, however you want to spend your money, spend it. I personally wouldn't buy a spreadsheet. I'll watch a video to see how the deck functions and get the basic bread and butter combo, but I'll practice with test hands to get the lines ingrained and to really understand the deck to get any real end board I want. I used to rely on someone else's deck building skills, but when my buddy stopped playing Modern to focus on weightlifting competitions, I had to start figuring things out for myself. That's helped me more than anything, and probably why I wouldn't buy a spreadsheet. Honestly, if I would have gotten a list for Malice that didn't have GWC, which summons a monster back from grave or banished and gain life if you control a Malice link, I wouldn't have taken it seriously no matter who they were. So whatever GWC is, I guess that's the card that Pac referenced in his tweet. And he's saying like, if I wouldn't have gotten a list or if I wouldn't have gotten a list for Malice that didn't have this card, I wouldn't have taken it seriously. Basically saying like, I would have knew that the spreadsheet was bullshit as soon as I was like, where's this card at? Because this should be played. And then they go on top with it. It's like, well, no shit. This card was insane. How did they not play it? Like the spreadsheet told you from the gate. Now that part, I get what Austin is saying, but some people genuinely don't know. Some people genuinely don't have the ability to like, or they don't have the time, either the time or the ability or both. Some people don't have those skills, whatever you want to call it, to know what is right and wrong in a deck list and how to say like, well, wait, this is missing and this should 100% be here. Some people don't question it because they just assume you're the best. You've topped or won X amount of tournaments. I expect that the information you're giving me is the real deal, because why the fuck would it not be?
And some cards look better than they are.
Yes.
And so you might be like, no, this card's obviously broken, and then like no top player plays it. So it could also be a case of like, you look at it, you're like, oh, this is really broken, but then you're like, oh, none of the top players are playing it. Like, I guess it's not as broken as I thought.
Exactly.
There's definitely cards that look better than and it's like, oh, it's actually not good.
This is very true, because when I was younger, I used to net deck for a very long time, and I came across my very first local JMC Collectibles. I remember playing at that locals for weeks, and then one day, the best player there, whose name is Dante or was Dante or whatever, he was talking about Swords of Revealing Light. At the time, I thought Swords of Revealing Light was a staple. I thought it was a staple. I literally always when I would build
God card.
When I would build my deck, Swords was never a card that I even thought would not go in my Chaos deck. It was not even a card that I looked at. When I looked at cutting things or changing things, Swords was never even up for debate. I come to this local where the players are much better than me. And I hear them, they're not talking to me. They're talking like a good amount away from me, but I have really big ears and I can hear really well. And I'm listening to the conversation and like, they're talking about how bad Swords is and how they haven't played that card in months. And I'm thinking to myself, like, when's the last time Swords was good for me? It flips my opponent's Magician of Faith for them. It fucking stops attacks, but people just summon Breaker or they just wait it out. And like, the concept of a minus wasn't really ingrained in me yet.
Yep.
Because Swords is a minus. Like, you play it, and for 3 turns, you do get a benefit, but then it just goes away with no... It didn't actually take any of your opponent's cards away. It just goes away.
Yeah.
So
ideally, like, if you want to give it the most grace, it, like, stops them from plussing, right? Because Battle Phase is a plus.
Yeah.
So, like, you can stop them from plussing and, like, recruit and then, like, do
At
stuff
least
to them.
by battle, yeah, because they can plus in other ways, and that's what I found out. I'm, like, flipping their Magician of Fate because it does that. So... Once I heard that conversation, it like kind of blew my mind. Now, granted, this is a very young Frazier, but it blew my mind that Swords would not be considered a staple and that it wasn't even being played by the best player in my local who was winning all the tournaments, and he was just leagues above me. And every time I played him, I would get 2-0'd. I ended up winning a game.
Looking at that card,
he wasn't even looking. And I then started to question everything. And my point in telling this story is that there are a lot of people like the younger version of me who genuinely did not even think to question certain card choices that are either there or absent because they either don't have your third eye's not open. It could be that you're just not you don't know what you don't know. Okay, I know that might sound crazy, but
ignorance is bliss.
Ignorance is bliss.
Or
you
not
don't
bliss, but yeah,
you don't know what you don't know.
Because if you don't know that something's good or something's bad, right? You were perfectly happy. Swords of Revealing Light's my card, right? Like, it's good. It's a great card, and then it's not.
Yep.
And I got to buy a new card.
On the topic of spreadsheets, again, just to kind of like wrap up this listener letter, because you start off by saying, first of all, however you want to spend your money, spend it. I love that because I agree with that. I want people to spend their money on whatever they want to spend it on. I am much older now. My time is very limited as a full-time content creator, a full-time accountant, and then I also have other things that I do like the gym, social life, all that, all those things, right? So my time is very limited. I'm at the age now where if I wanted to play Modern Yu-Gi-Oh! And Jesse Cotton offered to coach me for $100 or however much, per session, I genuinely would take that because I know one is Jesse Cotton. He's literally the best player of all time, basically. Like he's, at least if he's not, he's in the conversation, right? So it's up for debate, but it's really just like him and like maybe one other person who's in that conversation. So Jesse Cotton, if he was offering coaching, which I know he does offer coaching from what I understand, and I'm sure it's expensive. I, at my age and with my limited amount of time, would pay someone like him to coach me because I don't have the time to spend learning these things. I have the ability though. I do have the ability, but the time is where you lose me. And this is why I said it's between the time or the ability. Some people don't have the time, some people don't have the ability, some people don't have both. I have the ability to perceive what is good and what is bad over time, like I did with Edison, before I realized that like Frogs is definitely like, to me, the best deck, the best engine, the best everything. Before I realized that, I was sorting through all the other decks and realizing like, okay, once I found Frogs, I was like, well, this is just the best. Like this is the best. So, but it took time to get there, right?
Yeah.
And back then, I had the time. I don't have it anymore. So now that I don't have the time to do shit like that, because we've ramped up on content creation. Back then, I wasn't doing YouTube. It was just the podcast twice a week, and that was it. There was no YouTube at the time. Now we're doing like video creation and editing and all this other shit. I have even less time. And if I wanted to jump back into Modern and take it seriously, I would fast track myself with one of the best players. I would get one of the best players to get me up to speed, and I'm going to pay you for your time because it's not, I don't expect to like weaponize friendships or weaponize connections. Weaponize might be a strong word, but you get the idea. I don't want to like try to use people and be like, oh, I have a connection with this person. Jesse Cotton used to stay on my couch for regionals in Philadelphia when he was doing a regionals grind all the time. I never charged him a single thing. I'd call in a favor and be like, yo, get me up to speed.
Yeah.
And like try to guilt him into it that way. But I wouldn't do that. I'd be like, I understand time is valuable. My time is valuable. Your time is valuable. I'm willing to pay you. Get me up to speed. I'm not saying make me Jesse Cotton number 2, but I'm good.
Get me up to speed.
Get me up to speed, baby. Get me up to speed.
Just find out. Get me in the race. Just get me in the race.
Yeah. So I'm not against spreadsheets.
From there.
I'm not against it. To the point, I'm not against spreadsheets. I've never sold a spreadsheet to anyone. I've never bought a spreadsheet, but I understand people who do that type of thing. When we have Frozen Soul on the podcast, shout out to Chris. He was talking about how that game that he coaches people in, his clients are a lot of doctors and lawyers and all these people who have these extremely demanding careers that they just don't have time to learn how to play the game the way he knows how to play the game, right? So they pay him crazy amounts per hour to learn, to get me up to speed. And that podcast and that conversation really helped me to like make my decision even more clear on this topic. I feel the same way. Like I would pay someone to fast track me if I could.
Yeah, we don't have time to just grind like you could when you were 15.
Yeah.
It's just different. And when you have tons of responsibilities and bills you got to pay and money you got to make, you just don't have the time to grind. So what's it hurt? If you really want to get better at the thing and know what's it hurt to spend $100 to buy some time back and learn how to do it faster and more efficient?
Yep. I'm in complete agreement there. You want to read this next one? Tell your boyfriend I don't mind sharing.
Sure. This is also from Austin. Tell your boyfriend I don't mind sharing was the podcast. I've dated so many different people that I never think I really have a type other than red flags. My two longest relationships, one dating 5 years and one friend with benefits 2 years.
10.
Or 10 years. Coincidentally enough, had the same body type but different colors. As far as such a
that is funny to put it that way. Sounds like some shit in Dragon Ball.
Yeah. But as far as dating goes, someone having a boyfriend never really stopped me unless they were dating a friend. I mean, soccer has a goalie, but you can still score.
Oh, shit.
In fact, one of my best friends told me I'm only allowed to die one of three ways: heart attack, diabetic coma, someone's husband or boyfriend kills me. I tend to have a running theme with that. Even my first had a boyfriend. My most recent, however, started before her and her now ex broke up. We had decided on something open since she was with the guy for 7 years, and I knew she would miss out on the single finding herself again that you do when you get out of a relationship. Unfortunately, that resulted in her wanting to try and move out of the country last year, so she ended up ending things with me before she got too attached, which just means we still text and occasionally hook up. I also do a little toxic thing and still refer to her as my girlfriend, but mostly because other women want you more when you're taken.
So true.
What's really funny is I tell stories and stuff on stage about the funny things that happen at the bar I perform at weekly. Her ex will sometimes come in about a set or two after I perform, and I just know one day he'll walk in hearing a story that involves him in some way. And I know he wants to meet me, but not because he knows who I am. He just wants to meet the guy who owns my car, nice sports car, and he's a car guy. I know he'll try and have a friendship with me, and I know way too much to want to reciprocate a friendship with him.
So I agree with several things about this. I don't really think I have a type, but like my type is broad in terms of what I like. My type is pretty broad. It's not something like, oh, you have to be light skinned or you have to be dark skinned or you have to be specifically sick. You have to be above 6 feet. I don't have that. Like, I'm not like that. I've been with people who are all different heights, except no one shorter than me. I've never been with someone shorter than me for whatever reason. Not saying that I would never, but like maybe I just don't find people who are shorter than me attractive. I don't know. But my type typically is like my height or taller, relatively in shape type of thing. But that's kind of broad though, because a lot of humans just fit that criteria. I'm short. Yeah. So being taller than me is not really hard to do because I'm fucking 5'7". So like my type is not hard to come across. So my type is pretty broad, I would say. The whole part about people want you more. You said women, but I think it's people in general, because I can speak for the other side. People do want you more when you're in a relationship. It's just like a weird thing. I don't know what it is, but as soon as I start talking to someone and like we're getting kind of serious, all of a sudden my DMs start popping off with people who I either wanted already, but like it just never happened. The second I get into any kind of situationship, developing a relationship, now the attention, I'm getting crazy DMs, I'm getting sent nudes, I'm getting date invitations, let's go out, let's get like drink, let's do this, I'm just like, where the fuck were you at when I was literally single, meat in hand, needing somebody to come through? You were nowhere to be found. Meat in hand, nowhere to be found. And now, only person that was there for me was the hub. And now I'm talking to someone and we're kind of getting serious. And now all of a sudden it's like, oh, let's go out. Can I come over? Can I spend the night with you? It's like, no, you can't, because now I'm talking to someone, unfortunately. So I hate that. It's really real though.
It is real. It's fucked up. People are fucked up. People want what they can't have. People like a challenge or whatever.
Yeah, man. What did he say about the goalie? He said soccer has a goalie, but you still score?
Soccer has a goalie, but you can still score. It's true. It's true. Yeah, I mean, I'm in the middle. I agree. I think that Actually, I mean, I don't know. I don't really care. I guess people try to do whatever they want. At the end of the day, it's not your job to make sure that somebody else is in a stable relationship.
Yeah.
I guess. So if somebody cheats, like that person was always going to cheat and they're a piece of shit, I guess. But there is people that might take it too far. Like, for example, I don't think being drunk is an excuse. Like, oh, I was drunk, I didn't mean to cheat. I don't necessarily think that's an excuse.
Same.
But I do think if you are going out of, a girl has a boyfriend and she said no to you, but then like you somehow go out of your way and like get her drunk, and then like I still think it's not an excuse for her, but I also think you kind of went too far.
Yeah,
I think if you just like get the girl or the guy, then you get them. But if you start doing extra shit, like trying to get them drunk and inebriated in order to make a bad decision,
yep,
I think you maybe went too far.
Yeah, if you got to get people out of their right state of mind in order to choose you, that's fucking bad. Period.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say about that besides that's just fucking bad. Like, if you have to basically literally prey on someone and get them out of their right state of mind in order to like be successful, you need to evaluate yourself as a person. So yeah, there's that. Okay. This next one is about Austin, which, Enraged Peacock. Enraged Peacock wrote this one. Words are just noises we agreed on is the name of the listener letter. So, before we read this too, if you guys want us to read your listener letters aloud on the show, just write into imnerdpodcast@gmail.com. Again, that's imnerdpodcast@gmail.com. We will read them aloud on the show. Greetings, my favorite male online entertainers and fellow nerds. I don't know about y'all, but I find etymology to be one of the most fascinating and wild topics in our world. For those who don't know, etymology is a study of the origins of words and the way in which their meanings have changed throughout history. I figured I'd share some of my favorite etymologies, which I know is kind of an obscure thing to have favorites of. So like in Scooby-Doo, alright gang, let's split up and look for clues. The word clue originates all the way back in ancient Greece in the Greek mythology of Theseus and Minotaur. Theseus must navigate to the Minotaur, slay the beast, and make his way back out of the labyrinth, a winding puzzle with several twists, turns, and dead ends. He uses a ball of yarn to retrace his steps and to be able to navigate his way out of the labyrinth. During this era, the word for a ball of yarn was called a clue. So in order to solve the mystery, crime, puzzle, problem, etc., you must look for clues to solve it, just like our homie Theseus. I did not know that, by the way. That is like some fucking super new technology for me that you just put me on to Enraged. Then it says, I am a left-handed person, which means living in a world not built for you. Approximately only 10% of the world is left-handed. Historically, there was a prejudice rooted in religion, superstition, and a belief that it was a grotesque abnormality. Sinister comes from the Latin word meaning on the left. Jesus Christ, I did not know that either. Associating left-handed people as wicked, unsavory, diabolical, etc. This isn't the only word derived from left-handedness. The word dexterity, which means skillfulness with one's hands, comes from the Latin word dexter, which means on the right side. And the funniest of the words about left-handedness is ambidextrous. Uses the same Latin word dexter, but with the prefix ambi, meaning both, thus making the word ambidextrous mean being right-handed on both sides. Wow. So being correct. Right-handed is considered correct. Being ambidextrous just means I have two right hands. That's crazy.
Yeah. That's funny.
Lastly, a lexicographer reportedly spent 9 months compiling all of the meanings of the word run, which has a world record.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
All right.
Of the word run, which has a world record setting 645 distinct definitions, making it the most complex word in the English language. Hope you guys enjoyed this letter. Congrats on the 9K subs. I know y'all will be at 10K in no time. So long, Gay Bowser. Regards, Enraged Peacock. Peacock D Enraged, to be exact.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a fucking awesome letter. I also am like a bit of an etymology nerd. I love knowing like
where things come from.
For example, like democracy, right? I don't know all the specifics, but things I remember reaching in my mind, like ocracy, I think is like an organization. Like ocracy is the word used for like some sort of government, essentially. Like it's
a bureaucracy, aristocracy.
Like a theocracy is a religious government. So dem in Latin, it might be a longer word, but dem I know means, I think, human or people. So democracy is government of the people, because dem means like people or like something like that. So it's like where democracy comes from. Little things like that I do enjoy, like learning a lot of that. And even like a lot of our military terms are from France. Like grenade is like grenage in French. The reason why the word COLONEL, I think it's how it's spelled. If you read that, it's colonel, right? but it's pronounced kernel. There's no R in there.
Yeah.
But the word's pronounced kernel because it comes from France, and that's like how it's pronounced over there.
Yeah.
But in English, that word does not make fucking sense. Like,
no, it
when
doesn't.
you look at it, kernel doesn't make sense. Another funny thing is like the word meta. All of us being gamers, there's like this common understood term of meta, which means like most effective tactic available.
Yep.
But that's what gamers put onto the word meta. That's not where meta comes. Because like the word, because like there's meta, I think it's Greek or Latin. It's Greek or Latin, but it comes from like the thing beyond the thing or like above the thing. So like if you ever hear, like for example, metadata, right? I'm sure you've heard like websites have a metadata. Metadata is like the data about the data. It's like the data the website has. It's like the data about that data. Or like metacriticism is a criticism about criticism, like criticizing the way people criticize things. Like so like the meta game is like the game about the game. So like, you know, you play Smash Bros, but like the game about the game is like Marth versus Fox and Fox versus Sheik and blah blah blah. It's like all of that stuff. So it's like more than just what we've learned it to be as gamers, for example.
I love that. Again, a lot of these etymologies I didn't know until literally just now. I can't say that I'm an etymology nerd or anything like that. I do like learning about it, but it's not something that I've gone out of my way to like figure out unless I was specifically interested in a moment of time. Like I want to know where this word came from because this word is funny or this word is weird. But learning
often. Yeah, go ahead. My bad. I cut you off.
No, I was gonna say learning this stuff is really cool. Go ahead.
Yeah. I often will just like hear a word and I'll just be like, oh, I wonder, like, I'll just think I'll just think a word sounds interesting. Like I definitely look up the etymology for like a bunch of random words. Cause I'm just like, where is that word from? Why is that word? Or I'll think there's a connection between two words. Cause like I know, like, oh, is this word connected to this word in any way? Is there any relation?
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll look it up and there is. And sometimes I'll look it up and there's no relation at all. One of the craziest words is the N word.
Oh shit.
Because there's words and nobody makes a direct link between these things, at least not the last time I looked into it, but I think there is. So for example, there's a word that I don't feel comfortable saying, but it's like, I'm going to say it because it's a real word. You're allowed to say it.
Oh,
actually, I'm not going to say that word.
Yeah.
That's a real word.
Yep.
And it means like
stingy,
right?
Yeah.
But
I think so. Let me
it has the N. It's the N word erdly. It's N-wordedly,
yes.
Right? I'm not even going to say the word. I took it back. But I was playing a video game one time.
Ungenerous or stingy. Yep. So that's exactly what niggardly.
And so that's just a real word. It's a normal word.
Yep.
And most people will say it's not connected to the N-word. But there's various words that have the N-word in it. And all of those words are negative words. None of those words are positive.
Right.
So my thing is this. They're connected.
Yep,
like it's not an accident that the N word is a negative word, and all of the words that happen to have the N word in it are also negative. And you guys are to tell me they're not connected words. That's fucking crazy. That's insane.
I like that. I mean, honestly, and etymology is a study of how words evolve over time too. So one of the things I listened to this one podcast where the two people on the podcast argue every episode. That's like it's literally called sibling rivalry. They fight on everything. They rarely agree on anything. So it's really fun to hear it. Because I was thinking about like, man, I wonder if me and Kenny try to switch gears, do that. But I don't think that one, that's just not like, it would be forced a lot of time because we just don't naturally argue that much. So a podcast where like, meanwhile, these other two though, they actually argue all the fucking time naturally. Like for example, one of them will say like, I always wake up and the first thing I do is brush my teeth. And the other one would be like, no, the fuck you don't. You don't brush your teeth when you first wake up. And it's like, yes, I do. How you going to tell me? It's like, I literally saw you. We stayed together for a week in Japan. And the first thing you did when you woke up was got on your phone and started doom scroll. You didn't brush your teeth. You brushed your teeth like 30 minutes after doom scroll. It's like, Bob, no, I did not. I did wake up, brush my teeth, and then I started doom scrolling. And they will literally just start going. And that is the, like,
start arguing.
And so anyway, they start talking about like, etymologies all the time. And so I end up learning etymologies a lot. But one of the things that happened in one of the episodes was there was a word that, of course, when the one podcast host said it, the other one was like, you used that word wrong. And he said, no, I didn't. The word has changed over time to now include this definition. He's like, that's not how it works. He's like, yes, it is. That's exactly how it works. He's like, I know. He's like, people say the word ignorant and they are not using it the way like ignorant actually means like a lack of knowledge. Like you don't know something.
Yep.
But over time, because ignorant has been used so much to kind of mean rude or just stupid, or like people have now associated the word ignorant. Like if I say like, oh, you're being ignorant, people think that it's like a certain type of insult, but it's actually the real definition of the word ignorant before it became what it is now was just like, oh, you just don't know. Like, I'm ignorant to this. Like, I just don't know how this works. I'm ignorant to it. But people will start saying ignorant so much, or the best one is literally. People say literally, but they don't actually mean literally, because literally means it literally is this. So it is, if I say it's literally just water, that means that it can only be water. But if I say an alcoholic drink, which 100% has alcohol in it, I watch the bartender make it. But if somebody say it's literally water, it's not literally water though. Like, Kenny, you fucking pour tequila in it, and maybe you're so drunk now that it tastes like it's literally water, but it's not literally water though. It's not actually water.
Yeah, the thing is, language like, because there's so many different ways language evolves. When you say that, right, it's literally water. What you're saying is like, it's not that strong of a drink. Look, you could drink that. It's water. It's basically water. It's using hyperbole.
Yep.
But it's literally water. And the thing is, like, language evolves in a natural way. Ignorant now means like rude and things like that. It still means what it previously meant, but it also now encompasses like somebody being rude. And although that's not the exact like definitional of it, it now just kind of encompasses that as well.
Yep. It's really cool. I love etymology. I think it's such a cool study. And some people just have to accept that, yes, after people use words in a different way so long, it gets added to their definition. Like Webster and whoever's responsible for updating dictionaries, they eventually agree to add new definitions to words that you knew as one way your whole life, and now it just means this too.
You know what took me a while to understand? And by a while, I mean, I was still a kid when I figured this out. But you know how somebody say, what time is it? And they'll say 9:15. And if you don't know, that means it's 9:15.
Yeah, I hate that, by the way. I've always hated that because a quarter to me was 25.
Yes. So what's funny is that when you learn what a quarter is, especially as a kid, it might not fully sink in that a quarter is a fourth. And so the reason why a quarter is 25 cents is 25 is a fourth of 100, which is $1. So, but at first you learn a quarter and you just kind of understand a quarter as being a thing that's 25.
Yep.
So when people start saying 9:15 or 9:45, you're thinking it's like 9:25 or whatever.
Yep. That's what I thought as a kid. And for a while.
It's not. It's really 9:15 because it's a quarter of 60. And yeah, just like the word quarter means a fourth, but I also feel like in some other circles, if you say something's a quarter, it just means 25. Even if it's not a quarter of 100, you could call something a quarter and it'll colloquially, I said that word wrong, but it'll mean 25, even though that's not what it is.
Yep. I hated that as a kid. I didn't understand a quarter of. I would say, why wouldn't you just say 9:45?
I do think 9:15 is ridiculous, though. You could just say 9:15.
Yes.
Saying 9:15 is some pretentious. I don't know where that came from. I don't know why they became accepted lexicon, but that is also stupid. Like, why are you saying more? Ready? What time is it? 9:15. 9:15. Like, I just don't understand. I don't understand why we're doing extra shit.
And you know how Kenny is. Anytime he can make things simpler, he will. And I agree with him. In this case, I fully agree. Saying 9:15 is so ridiculous and pretentious to me.
Why are you giving me a word problem? I got shit to do. I don't got time for a word problem right now.
And I'm gonna be honest, this is also why I don't like analog time. I know how to tell time analog, right? Like, I obviously can look at a clock and just know, like, okay, this is what time it is. But it takes longer than fucking seeing 9:15 written as 9:15, bro. You can't convince me that you can tell time as quick as you can if it just said 9:15 digitally.
Yeah.
Like, you just can't. Like, digital time is just correct. We live in 2025. There's no reason for time to be analog unless you're wearing a watch. I don't like it. I do not like analog time. I don't like 9:15. All of that shit can go. Fuck that. It's pretentious. It's unnecessary. So that's how I feel. All right.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna read one more and then we can wrap this episode up. This one is based on our episode, The Psychic and the Slutty Boys. It says, so I work in a car shop and I see people living beyond their means with cars. Now, that's one of the worst things. I just want to say as an aside, that's one of the worst things to live above your means with. But a lot of people do that. They buy a car that is so expensive. They have a crazy car note, crazy insurance, and then they drive it off the lot and it's worth like half the price or something. He goes on to say, admittedly, I did buy myself a new car, but I got it during the pandemic when they were basically giving them away. Also, I did my research on the upkeep. It may be a sports car, but upkeep isn't crazy on it. My insurance going up post-pandemic, even though no tickets or wrecks, really hurt since it almost doubled. Even buying older models of some cars, the upkeep on them is still insane. I went to school for engineering and hated working on German products. They're over-engineered with such tight tolerances and they're honestly a pain. That very much carries over to their cars and with the price hike included. So wait, you hate, okay, you went to school for engineering and hated working on German products. So German products in general, you just don't like. And then you're saying they're over-engineered with such tight tolerances and they're a pain. That carries over to their cars, and with the price hike included, I see so many people who bought an older model Mercedes or BMW for the flex, they let it go to shit because the upkeep is insane. An oil change alone goes for 150 to 200 each time. Not to mention, a lot of the European cars come with staggered fitment, which means the front and rear tires are different sizes. You can't rotate those tires, which means you're going through tires a lot quicker than normal. This sounds so obnoxious, by the way. Just in general, like the way these cars are engineered, like you can't rotate the tires. So like if your tires, you just kind of need more tires. You need tires more often because the front two tires can only be exchanged with the front two tires, and the back two tires can only be exchanged with the back two tires because they're different sizes. That is so obnoxious. And I'm not a car person at all. I will say, keeping up with Meta right now is a bit living beyond my means. Now it's funny where look at this letter talking about Meta, but those are firm payments to get paid off pretty quickly. So I will say keeping up with Meta right now is a bit living beyond my means, but those are firm payments get paid off pretty quickly. Besides, being in the game as long as I have, it's really a long-term investment. There's stuff I can sell to zero out all the payment plans I have for cards if I want it, but I'm trying to hold on to stuff for the distant future. If possible. I've never regretted buying cards, only selling them way too early. So I'll say this, I don't know anything about cars, but you work in a car shop, you said, and you clearly know a lot about them. I always knew that foreign cars, they're supposed to be a flex, but I know they're outrageously expensive to get repairs done because my mom had a Mercedes when I was a kid, and that thing, as beautiful as it was a fucking pain in the ass. I'll never forget, like, her car was always having problems, and it was always so much money to do anything to it. Literally anything. A tire thing, an oil change, something with the engine, something with the transmission, something with the fucking, a mirror. Everything was expensive on this Mercedes. And I used to think to myself, this can't be worth it. Like, it cannot. Yeah. This beautiful car, it was a beautiful green Mercedes. It could not be worth it. I'm sorry. And I always had this thought since I was a kid because of that. Like, I don't care how nice they look, and I love Mercedes. It's like, because of my mom having one at a young age and knowing that it was a luxury car and I just kind of like luxury things, I used to aspire to want a Mercedes, and I just kind of grew out of that thought once I realized how much of a pain in the ass they can be, or that they are. Not even that they can be, that they are, because they will be at some point. At some point, the car will give you a nightmare situation.
They're nothing more, because they don't do anything special. Nope. They're nothing more than a flex for other people to say, oh, you have a Mercedes. But on the back end, it's nothing but a headache for you. Like, they're just a headache. Like, they don't make your life easier. You know what I mean? You could just get like a fucking Ford and you'll be fine.
Yep. Yeah. At the end of the day, right? A car gets you from point A to point B, right? That's what they're designed to do. If you want to go to the supermarket, your Mercedes and the Toyota Camry will both get you to the supermarket. Honestly, the same way. Like, you will get there in the same way, the same time. Like, you're driving on city streets and stuff like that or whatever. Like, there's really, outside of just individuality, flexing, things like that, there's no benefit to having the more expensive car, and repairs are more expensive because it's foreign parts, stuff like that. It's just the whole thing, right? And there's less of them. So because there's less of them, there's less parts of them as well. Whereas something that is mass produced because it's cheaper has a lot more availability. So parts are cheaper, and just overall work and labor. More people know how to fix a Toyota than they know how to fix a Mercedes. Cause like, as you said, the engineering on those things is so specific and so like just way more involved. So everything's more expensive about it. But yeah, I'm not really a car person. I was never really into that whole game. I know a lot of my friends have gone into debt or have suffered random $1,000 bills out of nowhere. Like, life is great, and the next you know, I'm out $2,000 this month because my car did X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, it sucks. I will say this, because the paragraph kind of switches, and it took me a couple rereads because I did not understand the last sentence. But I now realize that he's using cars and he's comparing it to Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah,
because I didn't understand what he meant when he was saying like keeping up with the meta, and because we were talking about cars. And then I realized now that last section he was talking about Yu-Gi-Oh cards. It switched. Yeah, but I didn't realize at first. I got very confused.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It was about cars, and then he started talking about using a firm to buy Yu-Gi-Oh cards, which I have never used a firm, but I do have something that's very similar, and I think it was the first version of a firm or any of those types of things where you're allowed to pay things over the course of 6 months or 4 months. Afterpay, there's a bunch of different services now that do this. PayPal, which I've had since I was a child. PayPal, because you needed it at one point to buy stuff on eBay. PayPal, because I've had PayPal for so long, because my credit score has gotten higher and higher over time of just having credit and using credit for everything. PayPal offered PayPal credit, and you kind of just get it by having a PayPal account for a while and just like buying things using PayPal. You just kind of get it. I think you do have to fill out some kind of brief application online, but it was like nothing. It was like nothing. Anyway, I had PayPal credit for like the last, I don't know, over 10 years. And one of the benefits of PayPal credit, one of the reasons why I love it, you can buy something, and if it's over $100, you can pay it off in 6 months. You can pay it off anytime between the day you bought it or 6 months later, and there's no interest or anything. There's no penalty. So if I buy, for example, if I buy a gaming computer, which is $3,000, my gaming computer was $3,000, right? I could put it on PayPal credit, and I don't have to pay that until June of next year if I bought it right now, because that would be 6 months out from right now. Like, I don't have to pay it. You can choose to pay a little bit over time if you want, but you could either pay the whole $3,000 in June, you could pay the whole $3,000 in April if you want it, you could pay the whole $3,000, or you could pay $1,000 here, you could pay $500 here, you can do however you want. When you log into your PayPal, it'll show you how much longer you have to pay off the amount. It'll show you what the amount is. And I use that all the time for certain purchases. For example, one of my friends, I booked their Japan flight, and the way I did it was I put it on my PayPal credit. They're going to reimburse me for it. But like right now, I'm a little tight right now. Like, I was like, whoa, no problem. I'll just book it for you. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, it's literally no big deal. But I put it on PayPal credit because it's like, one, I could pay for it myself right now with my own cash money in my bank account, or I could just put it on my credit. And then eventually in like in 2 months, a month or something, he'll give me the money for it. And I'll just literally net that against the PayPal payment, like the PayPal credit payment. And that's just, and there's no penalty to doing that. Like, I could wait literally up until, by the time it's due, we'll have already come and gone to Japan, right? Like, we're going to Japan in the first half of the year. The trip will have already been over. So like, I think it's just really cool. And I actually like using that for certain types of things that I buy. So I get the idea of using things like Affirm. I've never used it for Yu-Gi-Oh cards, but that's not to say that I would never use it for Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I don't really I'm not like judging people for using it. Like, you're putting a payment plan on Yu-Gi-Oh, or you're putting a payment plan on whatever. I don't really judge people for doing it because I do the same thing just in a different way.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys. Well, this is gonna wrap up the birthday pod. I think
the birthday pod for the birthday boy and his birthday suit.
Big 40 today. So shout out to everybody who wished me happy birthday again. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of y'all.
He's 40 years old.
40 years old, man. 40 years old. Big 40. Big 40. So yeah, with that being said, as I always say, oh wait, hold on, I gotta read out names. Hold on. I almost got ahead of myself.
That's what happens when you turn 40.
Yeah.
You start.
Fuck you. That was so good though. That's what happens when you turn 40 is fucking crazy. Like, what? Okay, hold on, let me open up all these Patreon pages. We got pages on pages on pages. So we have Bubba bottoming out Trump. Crazy, by the way. Crazy work. Adventure, Xavier Swift. This Ain't God, this is Stanley Earl. Hanging with Epstein, Dessert Specialist, Henri Reynolds, Red Vines, Hydropump, Vince, Dallas Bailey, KJ, Sizzle 43, Sarah Maria, Alex Ahern, FC Campa, Edison Club, Big Bora, Grok, Sugal, Vicky Venemon, Elijah Barfoff, Tyler Tadeo, Volvi the Mega Monarch. Shout out to Bill Clinton for teaching another generation what a BJ is. Janitor 215, Frazier Smith's birthday sex, Joshua Carroll, Eric Chai, Wayne Bangui, Neil Rigas.
All right.
Kenny's older cousin, Big Dick Nick Stango, not Kenny, Stango's Glaze Smooth Butt, Real Nika, Jonathan Rodriguez, Mamizuku Ride, Ron Neck, not even going to try. Kenny, I got 50K for you, dog. Hershey Bar, please grub irresponsibly this holiday season. Tyler Fresher, Sasha Egger, Daniel Anderson, Daroa, Ask the Mattress Sleeping is Goated, Jordan Eastman, Robert Light, Klanger, Sushant Bardwaj, Fontina Andrea, HT19, Gregory Comring, Charles Duran, Lim Biscuit Stango, Mike and John, Rich Silverberg, Santi, Stango, Anthony Japov, Michael Zhang, Stango, Tyler Gerbs, Kenny, you're up.
Brandon Crank, Chris Louie, Joshua Johnson, Luis Suarez, Julian Weidman, The Hopeless One, Stango, Ian Baylor, Choo Choo Train, Raj, Chris Kemp, Vengeful Servant Awareness Please, Hunter Farhat, Trace Kraminga, Dark Void TG, Pearson Boyer, Aurelio, Sam Pustenteno, Daniel Brando, Juan Sebastian Brazenda, Jackson Conrad, Shrabster, Chris Flores, Oliver Beer, Smiley Face, Justin Herman, Chess Prime, Connor Ketchum, Stango, Mass 22, Carl Waite, Idris Hosney, Chris Johnston, Garrett Hernandez, Chris Hurriet, Jay Tronic, Ryan Marple, Andre McGee, Ronnie Deo, Nick Marvin, ZZM, Aziz Yamni, Esteban Fuentes, Franco Rugini, Darius Glasgow. Franco Rugini's got to be in the mob. Darius Glasgow, Drazzer, Khaled, Teddy Tran, Ash, and Creating Chaos.
Again, thank you guys so much for your support. We appreciate every single one of you. And as always, they do the things that make you happy, including enjoying another year around the sun. And we'll catch you in the next one, guys. Peace.
So long, Gabe Bowser.
So long.